Hello, and welcome to another episode of Creating Cultures That Outperform. Hi, I'm Frank Wander. I'm the founder and CEO of People Productive, and I'm here with my amazing co host, Terry Mays. Terry Mays is a certified culture engineer, meaning she could take any culture and make it great. And that's quite a skill to have. Today, we're going to be talking about this. We're on episode 15. We've been doing a whole series on how to increase workforce productivity. I think most of you know that the CEOs, so I hit the wrong one. 4,700 CEOs, 40% of the work in their organizations produces no value. Companies must increase workforce productivity or they will not be around. And I think that's not a joke. I mean, this is a true thing. This is what the CEOs believe. This number is going up every year, by the way. More and more
Yeah.
companies are feeling the pressure of the economy and the need to outcompete and the need to transform, and they're not able to do it. And the things we're covering in this series all contribute to being able to move faster, get more done, build a great culture, be one of the survivors and winners as the world continues to transform how business gets done. So this is a really important topic, actually, because I think, people don't show enough appreciation. So many good things happen in all companies, and it's really, really important. There's a science behind this. Creates bonds between people, makes people feel better about the workplace. But I'm going to turn this over to Terry to kick us off on why an appreciative culture is so productive. Ter, you got the floor or the
You
mic.
know, what an intro. I feel like I'm the celebrity coming into the stage. But this is so important. And it's one of those areas that you cannot fake it. You cannot, because your
Mhm.
body language will betray you. If you're doing, just doing these employee appreciation things, but you don't really believe in it, people can feel it. Appreciation is a vibe. So it's not so much about what you're saying, it's more about what you're doing. And people can sense that from you, whether or not you genuinely appreciate it. So I would caution you here not to just implement, these random appreciation programs without actually having the
Yeah.
people show some real appreciation. This is one of those things that has to be heartfelt. It has to mean something to you in order for it to mean something to the person that's receiving the appreciation. So you don't want to get caught up just doing it just to be doing it. But man, the benefits pay off tremendously when you have a culture where people appreciate each other and they feel like they're being treated fairly. They start to trust you more. They believe that you're looking out for them, that you take notice of the things that they do. The last thing people want to feel like is that nobody cares about what they do, that what
Mhm.
they're doing doesn't matter. We've had a whole episode on that, talking about how important it is to connect meaning to what people are doing.
Yeah.
And then once you connect that meaning, make sure you're showing that you care about it. You really do
Yeah.
appreciate what they're doing. Those little things really do matter. It may feel like they're insignificant and that they're, things that who cares, but let people know that you really do care. You really do want to put your money where your mouth is, so to speak, in this.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend a whole lot of time just doing frivolous things that don't really matter. You want it to be something substantive. You want people to feel like, okay, yeah, they really did appreciate that. So that in turn makes me want to do a great job. It makes me want to do more of the good stuff. It
Yeah.
automatically makes me want to do even better because I know that it matters, and
Mhm.
that not just that it matters to me, but that it matters to my managers, it matters to the organization, and they actually appreciate what's happening.
Yeah. It's just super important, actually. People are very bad at showing appreciation. They've not really grown up showing appreciation generally for things. So people force it. And, Terry was saying earlier, you can't fake it. And that really is true. It's a vibe. And there are many things that are a vibe. We cover some of them. We know the number one thing people want from their leaders is not competence. They're looking for warmth, to trust them. That was the number one thing Harvard research. That's a vibe. You could see these vibes are just so
Yeah.
important. And mood, fun, which we covered in the last episode, now appreciation. These are parts of the vibe of that workplace, the mood or the climate. And so when you appreciate what somebody has done, they automatically feel better. And we know that mood is contagious. So as maybe they smile more, their spirits up a little bit. That's also going to be contagious. And as a leader, if you point out really the good things in people and say what you appreciate them, you're going to be modeling the behavior you want in the organization. You want people to spontaneously say, hey, you're great. I love being working near you. You're fun to have around. Boy, you're such an asset to this place. Amazing. Whatever it is, the fact that people feel comfortable, giving appreciation. And when you want to build an appreciative culture, you certainly want this just overall sense of gratitude. You want to celebrate things, you want to recognize people. You can't overlook celebration as part of having a really, really good culture that's, appreciative. You got to celebrate the big things, but you also need that spontaneous recognition going on where when somebody does something good, you don't have to wait 2 months for somebody to get up and give them an award. You should go over and thank them right now.
Yeah.
And, you know, companies sometimes have these reward and recognition programs. And hey, here's your $10 Starbucks gift card. Wow, keep up the good work. That is nothing compared to a boss coming over and sincerely going, wow, man, you just nailed this so well. I can't believe the quality of what you did. Whatever it may be, that UI you built is gorgeous. I took one look at it. I just almost fell off my chair. It is beautiful, but it's got to be real.
Yeah.
You got to do it because you're feeling it. That feeling is the vibe that's going to be transmitted. And it's going to make that recognition so much better and that appreciation so much better than that gift card. Because the gift card is nothing. Hey, great. You couldn't thank me. You had to give me a gift card. In some ways, those things can be negative because they're not human. It's the human interaction, these human factors that really matter and drive things. And so I can't say enough about the importance of this.
Yeah. Well, you just hit the nail on the head with something. If you can connect some genuine feeling with something
Mm-hmm.
tangible,
Yeah.
you basically just gave your entire organization a boost,
Yep.
connecting something intangible with something tangible. And now people can see that, oh, this really does matter because they're not just talking about it, they're doing something as well. So those little tokens matter to people. But you've got to be careful because they don't matter to everybody. So you've got to know your organization. You've got to know what motivates people, what makes people feel special. And it's different for every person. Some people
Yeah.
like to have their name in lights. They want everybody to know that they
Yeah.
did it. It was me. I'm the rock star. And there are other people that just cringe at the thought of that. So,
Yeah.
if you want to celebrate people and you want to make them feel appreciated, you have to know what drives them as an individual. So this whole idea that every person is the same and we are all just the same, and it's just really not true. You've got to get to know people, and I think about it like if you've had multiple children, then this just makes perfect sense to you. You have
Yeah.
multiple children coming up in the same household but are as distinct can be. Every person is unique. They have their own different
Oh boy,
personality,
don't they?
whole nine. Yeah, and I have twins, and that is it's so very true. They look alike. They have a lot of things in common, but they are individuals for sure. Like
Yeah.
they have their
Never
own
make that
likes and
mistake,
dislikes.
right? Boy,
Yeah.
they are
So
individuals.
people are individuals, and you have to treat them that way. You have to see it that way. A lot of times it's easier to express those negative emotions. So if you see something that you don't like, it's easier as a leader to point that out because you're thinking, I don't want more of that. But on the flip side, you want to do the same with expressing those positive emotions because that counteracts the
Mm-hmm.
impact that when you express those negative emotions. And yes, it's a necessary thing. Sometimes you have to deal with things that are not so pleasant all the time. But you don't want to create a toxic environment where all you do is point out the negative
Oh,
because
heaven forbid,
that will
right?
just make people want to run away for sure. If all you're doing is pointing out the flaws, you want to balance that out by also pointing out the great things.
Yeah.
And even if it's something small, it really doesn't matter. It just has to be heartfelt. It has to be something that you genuinely saw that and thought, yo, that was really good. That was really good. Um, I I can count on one hand the number of
Mhm.
times that I've had people say something to me, and it was one of those, "Oh, I didn't even realize that that somebody saw that," or, "I didn't
Yeah,
even realize that that mattered." But the times that it happened, the boost that it gave my morale, just the joy that I felt internally knowing that, "Hey, I did something that made a difference."
yeah,
It's something that leaders really do have to take note of more often and really put some effort into getting to know the people that are working on your teams, the people
yeah,
you're working with. Like, seriously, get to know them. Don't just make it something where it's just, that's my coworker. I'm not here to make friends. Nobody wants to stay in a place where they don't have
yeah.
friends. So you want to make sure you're taking the time to appreciate people and make connections with them, because that's going to make all the difference in the world.
All the difference, yeah. I remember back to this day, I mentioned on one other show we were doing many years ago at Merrill. I had been there for a short period of time, gotten this tough project done. And the guy who ran operations, he was a real executive, a guy named Joe Gambale. I ran into him and I really didn't know him. I had not even met him, but he somehow knew me, found out who I was because of this project, walked over to me and said, "Hey, I'm Joe Gambale." I mean, he gave me this most sincere thanks for getting this thing done. And it just felt so good at that moment, because he just did it right. He showed true appreciation. I felt it, felt like all that extra work was, wow, that was worth it. We got this done. And look, here's this guy, he doesn't really even know me supposedly. And he's knows who I am now. And he's coming over and going out of his way to say thanks.
Yeah.
And that's the type of thing that leaders should understand, that this can be just that powerful. When people feel appreciated, they feel very safe where they're working. And the minute they're safe, that psychological safety, it frees them up to think more, be created, be more creative, build more relationships in the organization. Um, and I think that you've just got to have sincere appreciation in the workplace. People really aren't fluid at expressing emotions. They may be able to speak well, but they're not fluent at expressing their emotions. And appreciativeness is an emotional act. And so people aren't particularly good at this, but they should practice and they should just become aware of their feelings and understand that when they truly feel, wow, that was great, that's the time to go up and thank somebody.
Yeah.
Because,
Especially the higher up you are in the organization.
yes,
You want to make sure you're taking time to know people by name and speak to them.
yes,
Even just something
big
as
time.
simple as passing people in the hallway and saying hello and using their name. What a difference that makes.
Oh, it's huge, especially when it's a big place and they know your name. I
Yeah.
always went out of my way to try to meet everybody, or, I'd go to the cafeteria. This is the old days when everybody went into the office, but I go down to the
Yeah.
cafeteria, try to spot people in my organization. I'd have big place, big organization, 800,000 people, but I'd find some people that I had met or whatever along the way, and I just go sit at their table, say, "Hey, how you guys doing? Let's catch up," whoever it was,
Yeah.
and get to know them a little bit, and then after that you could say hi to them anywhere in the place. "Hey, how's it going?" And people love that.
Yeah. It humanizes you as a leader, and it
Yeah,
also recognizes the humanity of the person that you're talking to let them know that you don't see them as just an employee ID,
right.
one number that can turn into a different person. You get another person, it doesn't matter. When you start to treat people like individuals,
Yeah,
they're unique and they bring something unique to the table. Each person is different. When you start to recognize that and treat them as such, then they are more willing to bring their uniqueness to work with them, which in
yep,
turn helps to boost the company overall, because they're doing what they do best. That's being
yeah.
themselves. You don't want people in a place where they feel like they have to be fake and phony
Oh, no,
and
not at
they
all.
hide who they are. That really is not gonna
That
be a good environment for people, because we genuinely are looking for places where we can connect and make a difference. And so you want people to feel like, I can be my authentic self and make a difference in this organization.
Yeah, it's super important. So I can't say enough about the importance of building an appreciative culture. You've got to show gratitude for the things that are happening around you. If you're a leader, you've got to be thankful for all the good work that goes on. you should be on the lookout for good work, and you should be
Yeah.
rewarding it, and you should be doing it spontaneously. You should having planned celebrations. You should give people these little tokens. They can make a difference when it's done sincerely and not just as some mechanical thing because, hey, I got these cards, I got to give them out. Whatever it is, do it sincerely and make the power of thanks powerful.
Yes.
And you're going to do well as an organization. So, our next episode, we're actually going to be moving on to episode 16, which is vulnerability. And so we're going to be looking at a vulnerable culture and how productive that is. I think that's a really hard one for most people to really get a grasp of or to become more vulnerable. People don't like showing weakness, but it is one of the most powerful productivity tools. And everybody should do it because it leads to a better life for themselves. People who are vulnerable really grow faster. They just do. They ask the right questions. They start to work on things. They become more self-aware. And so there's just so much to it. I think you should join us for that episode. We're here every Wednesday, 3 o'clock Eastern time. We have another episode. Go to the People Productive channel on YouTube. It's right here. And you can see under the live tab all of these shows and check all these episodes out because this is a real education. Every bit of this is based on science. We don't have to make anything up. There's so much science out there, right, Tara? And we have the experience to say this science is real.
Yeah. And the other thing is, we're making this in such a nice, neat little format for you.
Yeah.
There's like mountains and mountains of information you have to wade through in order to get what we're giving you in these concise, short videos.
Yeah.
So we hope that it's really making a difference for you and really transforming how you do leadership.
Yeah, the human factors of leadership are the great frontier that lies ahead of most leaders. People understand business process. They understand process, improvement. And, people understand the non-human factors of leadership because everybody spent all their time on it. What's your budget? What's your forecast? They get it. But the human factors, this is really still that unexplored terrain for most people. And I think the more leaders embrace the human factors, the more they understand it, the more they use it as tools, the better they're going to do in their career, the better the people are going to thrive under them. And it's such a big opportunity. Anyway, yes, tune in, join us. We're here every week at 3 o'clock. Our next episode will be on vulnerability. So I hope you can be there to join us.